Megaman spent 10 games chasing one guy. It's a shame too, since he's not the one to blame. Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, voted Show of the Year in the year 20XX. Now, let me come right out and say it. I love me some Blue Bomber. I don't often replay games, but when I do, I prefer Megaman. And after playing the recent, exceptional fan-made Megaman Unlimited, it got me thinking about the series again, which, as you know, can be a dangerous thing around these parts. Sure enough, what I came to realize was actually quite shocking. Dr. Wily, you know, evil genius out to conquer the world using his robot army, he's not the one to blame in these games. I hear what you're thinking. How could Dr. Wily not be the one responsible, right? I mean, first red flag, he's German. If mainstream media has taught us anything, it's that Germans not carrying around hot pretzels, beer steins, and/or Wiener Schnitzel are clearly Nazi sympathizers. All cultural stereotyping aside, though, Dr. Wily is the one to turn a legion of specialized work robots against humanity, so that would seem to make him pretty bad. But is all of this his fault? I used to think so until I saw this moment from the end of Mega Man 7. At the end of the game, surprise, surprise, Rock has Wily begging for mercy, but this time it's a little different. Mega's not having any of Wily's pleas. "I gonna do what I should have done years ago," he says, apparently so enraged he forgot to use his helping verbs. But Dr. Wily reminds him, robots can't hurt humans. That's the way they're programmed. And that's when Mega Man reveals, in probably the slowest text scroll ever featured in a video game, that he is more than a robot. We all know that the next word is robot. A robot. That he is more than a robot. Anyway, he goes in for the kill, but in a twist marginally less shocking than Aerith's death, Wily escapes. Cue Mega Man 8. Now, what's so strange about this moment is that Mega Man, who is canonically 100% a robot,
super fighting robot, Mega Man,
is able to independently decide to hurt, even kill a human. This brings up the question of machine ethics, or what it means to program robots so that they behave in a way that we as humans deem moral. As robots become smarter, as they come closer and closer to being able to make their own decisions, these issues become increasingly more important. Probably the best known example of a robot moral code is Asimov's 3 laws of robotics, which state the following. 1. A robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. 2. A robot must obey the orders given to it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. 3. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. Remember, robots behave in the way we program them, following a strict code based on the rules we put in. Asimov was a science fiction writer who created these laws as he explored the possible loopholes machines could find in their programming. Setting up airtight rules like these, where there is no possibility of a machine misinterpreting what we meant, is essential to avoid the prospect of a robot uprising a la Terminator 2. But based on the Mega Man 7 ending, it's clear that Rock wasn't programmed in a way that forces him to adhere to this sort of code. Instead, he has the ability to decide who lives or dies based on some arbitrary criteria. At first, I thought this meant he was broken, but in actuality, this was intentional, with these criteria programmed into him by one man, Dr. Light. And Dr. Light didn't just give Mega Man this ability. Every murderous robot rampaging through the city was the result of the good doctor. Yes. Everything filters back to Dr. Light. Every robot master, every wily scheme, every life lost. It seems like an extreme claim when there is very clearly a villain in the character of Dr. Wily, but to truly understand, you have to have a clear sense of the series' story. And since there's been a lot of confusion over the years about Megaman's canon, let me briefly summarize the events of the series. Wily and Light attended the same school, the Robot Institute of Technology, or RIT. Oh, I get it. I see what you guys did. It's like MIT, but instead of the M, there's an R. I get it. Yep, got it. Dr. Light wanted to create human-like robots, ones with a sense of individuality, with purpose, a new level of artificial intelligence mimicking the human mind and free will. Thus, he created Proto-Man, the world's first independent robot. But being independent, Proto-Man escaped. So instead of doing anything about it, Dr. Light was like, well, better build two this time. And thus, Rock and Roll were created. Rock and roll. Well done, Capcom. Very clever. Tip of the cap. Tip-o the cap. When those two didn't freak out like Proto-Man, Dr. Light went on to build more, this time thematic robots, and hence the Robot Masters. Wily, meanwhile, saw all this as his opportunity. Though he wasn't a skilled programmer and couldn't create the artificial intelligence like Dr. Light could, he was able to manipulate the robots and recode them to do his bidding. In fact, in Mega Man 9, we see that one way Wily is able to convince robots to join his ranks is by vowing to help them survive past their expiration date. With the robot uprising underway, Dr. Light, knowing that the world's police forces and armies wouldn't be able to combat these new enemies, converts Rock into the fighting robot, Megaman.
Super fighting robot, Megaman.
From that story, Dr. Light's responsibility for the events in the Mega Man series should become crystal man clear. He built robots that had cannons, bomb launchers, and giant scissors bolted to their bodies, then took it upon himself to give these machines autonomy. He willfully ignored conventions like Asimov's laws, and instead decided that these robots should have the equivalence of free will, despite neither he nor the world being equipped for what that free will entailed. He allowed Proto-Man, a deadly robot with no fail-safes, no programming to say don't kill humans, to escape, and then did nothing about that other than build a few more. And all of this carelessness, this unwillingness to think about the consequences of his actions, allowed Dr. Wily to swoop in and use these robots for his own purposes. Looking back at the Mega Man 9 example, those old robots faced with a rapidly approaching expiration date and the threat of becoming scrap in a junkyard chose to follow Dr. Wily, chose the possibility of a longer quote-unquote life. And why shouldn't they want to live longer if they can? This artificial intelligence Dr. Light gave them makes them practically human. Did they follow the wrong person? Maybe, but at the end of the day, it was their right to choose, as given to them by Dr. Light. Dr. Light, for as brilliant as he is, ultimately fails in the realm of robo-ethics, or the ethical considerations roboticists must keep in mind as they create newer, stronger, more autonomous robots. He was willing to progress the field forward, but was unwilling to take responsibility for everything that meant. And see, that's the important part. The technology is easy. In fact, it's already coming into existence. With all the political warring in the area, between North and South Korea is a demilitarized stretch of land 2.5 miles wide. Step foot into that territory, and you will immediately be shot, no questions asked, by the thousands of patrolling soldiers. It's one of the deadliest areas in the world for humans, but it just got a little bit deadlier. This is the Super Aegis II, an autonomous gun tower that can sense and lock onto human targets in complete darkness at a distance of nearly 1.5 miles. Once locked on, it has a machine gun, an optional grenade launcher upgrade, and can be loaded out with practically whatever weapon an owner feels like strapping onto it. A laser and gyroscope help calibrate the aim, delivering precision punishment to whoever stumbles into this part of the jungle. This thing is deadly, overkill. And let me reiterate the first adjective I used to describe it: autonomous. It can find a human and take out a human without needing to consult a human. No mercy and no regard for what side that person might be fighting for. Give this thing the ability to walk, drop it into a city, and you have yourself a ruthless killing machine with no morality outside of human-shaped figures die. And that is essentially what Dr. Light allowed to happen. Now you might be saying, Dr. Light was doing this with the best of intentions, and you know what? I would agree, 100%. But it doesn't change the fact that when you come right down to it, he's responsible. Without his technology, without his blatant disregard for established robot ethics, Dr. Wily would have never been able to convince a group of freely thinking robots to join him, to allow him to reprogram them. Light is a man who decided to take robo-ethics into his own hands, created, then gave free will to deadly war machines, carelessly let autonomous robots escape, and did absolutely nothing after the fact to stop it other than, oh yeah, do the whole thing again. In summary, the Megaman series serves as a warning to us. Don't take robo-ethics lightly, otherwise we might be the ones sweeping the floors for our Roomba overlords. But hey, it's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. Welcome back to the super amazing end card tournament, where last week you were pretty evenly divided on what sort of videos I should be doing, so more of everything. So today a question a little bit simpler than solving the dilemma of robo-ethics. Which of the original Mega Man games was the best? 1 through 10. Is 2 as good as everyone says, or are you a 3 fan? Do you like the underrated 5 and 6? Let me know by clicking on one. And before you do, make sure you subscribe for more ethical quandaries filtered through some of your favorite video games.